Welcome back to Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Flames and the Coyotes' fourth meeting of the season. We check our starting goaltenders, brought to you by Intact Insurance Company, proud to partner with the Calgary Flames. Joni Ortio stopped 36 shots for his first NHL shutout in Vancouver on Saturday. Most saves by a Flames rookie goalie in 33 years, and he gets back in the lineup in the starting role tonight against the Coyotes. At the other end, Mike Smith. He struggled this year. His numbers reflect that. He's 6-6-1 all-time against the Flames. Game 2 of 6 straight on the road for Calgary. They won in Vancouver, went back home, and they open up the southern swing in Arizona tonight that will take them to San Jose, LA, and Anaheim. I guess that's 5, not 6. Either way, the Flames looking to make it 2 in a row as they ended that 3-game losing skid against the Canucks, and we're underway in Arizona. Face-off win for Hansel at center ice. The puck goes deep in the Coyote zone. Bounces free to Monahan. He's pushed off the puck. Stone feeds it ahead, and Gagne, he's playing on the wing on this line with Hansel and Bodker, gets the puck in. On goal, Ortio hangs on for a face-off as we check our keys to the game. Brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Kelly.
For the Calgary Flames, put pucks to the net. Everybody's talked about Mike Smith and his struggles. Let's see, don't take him off the hook. And for the Coyotes, defense joined the rush, especially Ekman Larson and Keith Yandle, the two most mobile defensemen on their squad.
Monahan against Hansel on the draw. Win for the Coyotes. There's Bodker. He's had a hot hand of late. Works it behind the net. Brody watching him as Bodker comes out the other side, all the way back to the line. Almost lost the puck, kept it onside. Hansel gets it behind the net for Gagne, intercepted by Mark Giordano. He'll shovel the puck up the boards over the stick of Hansel, but not out. They keep it onside out front. Gagne all alone, open net. Great save by Ortio. He laid down the left arm and stopped Gagne, who looked like he had a tap in. And the Flames get the puck out and fire it in. Wow, that's the way to get into a game early, Kelly.
Absolutely.
What a stop for Joni Ortio. Back they come over the line. Moss ticks the puck towards his stick, but couldn't take it. Lines up in the corner. Reeder battling there. Backlund. Goals in 3 straight games for Michael Backlund coming off his injury as the Flames get the puck out. Jones heads up after it. Gaudreau with him out front. Pass never got there. It deflected away off the stick of Yandle. Puck back behind the goal. David Jones works it back to the point to Russell. Russell with a long shot. Gaudreau couldn't tip it on goal. Backlund to it on the far side. Stick lifted by Chipchura. And the puck comes free. Tobias Reeder able to work it out. He'll chip it in as his line mates head to the bench and a change. He peels off as well. Dennis Wideman in his own zone turns back as Calgary finishes off a change. Russell takes the pass now. Off the boards out the center. Tipped in by Drew Shore, the newest Flame, out there for his first shift in Calgary colors. And this will go for an icing call against Arizona.
Looked like the Calgary Flames are not going to have any problem whatsoever clearing the zone, and everybody forgot about Sam Gagne in front of the net. It's a nice little dish right there, but the hesitation by Gagne, I thought that the hesitation had opened up the play, in fact, but then a desperation save by Ortio to get across. That's what separates a guy from the minors and an NHL goaltender, never giving up on the play, and maybe that's a real step forward for Ortio.
Great chance for Gagne, better save for Ortio. And out come the Coyotes after the icing calls. They work it over the line. Lesio's pass towards the goal was blocked. Flames get the puck up the boards. Erat ties up Colborne and works it free to Vermette. Back to the line, but it comes outside the zone. McCulloch has to wait for his teammates to tag up. So he drops it off and then gets the return pass himself. Played it ahead. Here goes Antoine Vermette. Pass for Erat. Tipped away by Giordano. Now Vermette gets it back. Lesio fed it out front. Intercepted by Brody. He feeds Byron. Paul Byron. Speed down the wing. He can motor. Stops on the half boards. Waits for support. Try to turn back towards the corner. Lesio had fallen. Got in the way. Puck flip behind the net. Mike Smith out of the goal. Loves to handle that puck.
Do we call that a great defensive play by Lesio? Because he fell.
One of those happy accidents. Yeah. Fall right on top of the puck and break up the cycle. Derek Englund works the puck over the line. Backhands it deep. Bowling onto it. Fourth line out. Pass out front. There's a chance in the slot for Hoodler with a shot. A nice stop there by Smith, who makes his first save, and it's a solid one as well. And he hangs on for a whistle.
Good puck movement by the Calgary Flames. Get it deep. Mike Smith not able to get that one. And then that just sets up the Yuri Hoodler play, but it's good dump in because Mike Smith is so active. We know he likes to come out and play those pucks, keep them away from him. That's why Yuri Hoodler was able to get that pass. Nice shot. Mike Smith able to corral that one in the midsection.
Monahan against Vitale on the draw. Vitale wins it. Ekman Larsson gets the puck off the glass. It looked like it might have hit Monahan up near the head, but he's all right. Winds up with the puck. Sean Monahan head up, works it through center, over the line, knocked off his stick by Oliver Ekman Larsson. And out come the Coyotes to center ice. Korpikoski will chip and chase. Cut off by Russell. That gives Weidman time to get back to it. To Russell. Ahead to Monahan. Gave it away at the line. Puck flipped in behind the net. Weidman to it in the corner. Took a hit down low. Vitale onto the puck along the boards. Chips it behind the net. Trying to get it back. He's tied up. Weidman regains control. Finds Glencross, who feeds it over to Monahan. Gets the return pass. Glencross on the line with a shot. That's blocked. Puck bounces to Korpikoski. And he'll feather it out the center ice where Vitale races onto it. Works it over the line. Vitale cuts across. Got the puck on the boards. Murphy had retreated. Englund took it away. And Rafa Diaz will get over to it on the other side. Back to his partner, Derek Englund, approaching 4-minute mark here in the first period. Gaudreau goes offside at the Arizona blue line.
Toyota is on now at a Toyota dealer near you.
Bob Hartley this morning was talking about the 4-day break. They had last played Saturday in Vancouver and how it's really good for them, both mentally and physically. And they've had a few of these this year. They just had the holiday season, of course. They have the All-Star weekend coming up next weekend, so you have to try and take advantage of the rest when you can get it.
Off the draw, Derek Englund gets control, circles the net, plays it out to David Jones, who clears. Coyotes control it, though. Zbynek McCulloch at his own blue line. And now Gagne had that great chance early. Stoned by Ortio, fires the puck in. Diaz back to it. Gagne cut it off behind the net, tried to feed it out front to Hansel. Puck bounces, chopped wide of the goal. Diaz gets it again around the boards, won't get it out, kept onside. Samuelson playing in his first game for the Coyotes. Bodker now, fired it across to Gagne out front, steered away by Ortio. Tipped back to the line, did it come out? It did. Leg call. Coyotes start a change, that gives Backlund room to wheel through center. Up to Joel Colborne down the wing. Colborne with a shot, stick saved by Smith, and the puck goes over the glass and out of play.
Dave Tippett, one of the most respected coaches in the National Hockey League, has just had a wonderful coaching career both in Dallas and Arizona. You can see 480 wins since 2002-03, but he's got his challenges right now with this Arizona team. Rick, team in transition, you can say, and there's lots of talk that there's going to be lots more movement here before the trade deadline.
He's done such a good job, Kelly, over the years, squeezing a lot out of a little. But
in trying circumstances, too.
Exactly, all the question marks about ownership and the future of the franchise. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked this year.
Well, the goaltending, number one.
That's a big part of it.
Boy, it's amazing how everybody around the organization talks about the struggles of Mike Smith, too.
But he's flying without a net now. Figuratively speaking, Devin Dubnyk is no longer with him. He's been playing extremely well. So Mike Smith is the man, and he's got to get his game going. Here they come over the line. Chipchura drops it off to Moss. Backhand shot, put it wide. Puck comes around the boards, back to the point. Stone. Chipchura. Backhand pass out front, tipped on goal by Moss. Ortio made the save, and Russell corralled the rebound. Dennis Weidman takes control. Lead pass, trying to spring Bomo. Would have been at home free. Couldn't take it, though. Off his stick into the zone. Late in the shift, Bomo peels off anyways. The Coyotes settle things down just past the 5-minute mark of the first period. Scoreless game. Shots 4-2 Arizona. Erad over the line. Pass deflects right to Ortio. He takes no chances. Covers up for a whistle.
Go back to Mike Smith and talk about some of his struggles. And, you know, you take a look at the numbers. Those are pretty impressive numbers, especially 11 and 12, 12-13, pretty good. Last year still pretty strong, but the .885 save percentage this year in the goals against is just horrific for a top-end goaltender. And, you know, you watch him a lot, Rick, and I have, and he can start off a game really well. He'll make 4 or 5 pretty decent saves. Something bad happens, a bad goal or a lucky goal, and it's off the rails at that point. And I've been through that, and it's very difficult mentally.
Shot by Erad, whistles wide. Vermette plays it behind the net. Lucas Lesio on the other side, dropped it off to Martin Erad. Twisting and turning, Monahan watches him as Erad skates the puck up the boards, then dumps it deep for Vermette, lets it go around behind to the other side. Onto it there is Lesio. Back to Antoine Vermette, to the point now to Murphy. And he lost the puck, came outside the zone, fired it back in, delayed offside call as TJ Brody takes control and works the puck towards the line, across to Giordano. Flames captain, long lead pass, deflects right to Glencross, he'll bring it in. Flank cross down the wing with a shot up high, and Smith makes the glove save and hangs on. 13:41 to go. First period in Glendale, Arizona. No score. Flames and Coyotes on Sportsnet. Play Safeway's $1 million score and win. If any Flames player scores 5 goals in tonight's game, Jennifer Evangelista of Calgary could win $1 million. Shop at Safeway. You could be our next lucky winner right here on Sportsnet. Kelly, no Shane Doan tonight. Here's why.
That's right. Tuesday versus Arizona. Top right part of your screen, you can see Doan goes out to the point. It's Brent Burns with the puck. There's the shot. It hits the inside of the leg of Doan, so he's out. There was a little bit of talk maybe that he might somehow make it back for tonight, but not to be.
Dave Tippett saying today he's day-to-day as the Flames in the offensive zone win the faceoff. Gaudreau took a shot in the back from Korpikoski, who's able to jar the puck free and clear the zone out to center ice. Larry Korpikoski gets it back and dumps it in. Weidman trying to get there. McMillan beat it to Vitale on the other side. Brandon McMillan now. Watched by Backlund. Puck comes free behind the net to Weidman. He'll flip it back up the boards, and it gets past the point and out to center ice. Race for it there. Gaudreau beaten to it by Murphy. Backlund steals it back and works it over the line. Flips it deep. Johnny Gaudreau heads into the forecheck. Puck goes behind the net. Vitale able to pick it up, but he's pushed off the play by David Jones. Backlund now battling for it. And Vitale gets control on the boards and cleared it out to center ice. Johnny Gaudreau back into the zone. Backlund with him. Waiting for support. Pass behind Backlund through the slot out the other side. And that allows Connor Murphy room to get the puck, clear the zone out to Sam Gagner, who flips it in. TJ Brodie back to it. Mark Giordano. Matt Stajan now. Lead pass for Byron. Stick lifted by Hansel, but Brodie followed up and played the puck in. And Samuelson back. Philip Samuelson, first game as a Coyote, is Ulf Samuelson's son. The puck goes to his partner, McCulloch.
And plays nothing like his dad. From what I've been told, we all remember Ulf is a really, really rugged defenseman, known for his hitting, and Philip isn't quite that way. A little bit more skilled, maybe, and just a great thinker of the game.
And he spent some time here as a kid.
Yes.
Because his dad was playing with the Coyotes when he was younger. So he's happy to be here. Came over in the trade from Pittsburgh for Rob Klinkhammer. Is suddenly on the road again. He's been a busy man, Klinkhammer, in terms of trades this year. Flames work the puck in Boma. Knocked off a stick into the corner by Chipchura. It's past 8 minutes gone, first period. There's a shot off the far side, steered away by Smith. Bounces back to the line to Diaz, who keeps the play in. Diaz to the slot with a shot. That goes just wide. Joe Colborne to the puck in the corner. Along the boards, battling with McCulloch. Chipchura trying to get it out. He stumbles. Boma gets the puck up front of the backhand. Put it wide. Chipchura slow to get back into the play from the line as he had fallen down. McCulloch winds up with control. The puck's fed across, and here they come to center ice. Mikkel Bodker leads the way late in the shift. Gains the red line, dumps it in, then heads off.
Confidence there by the youngster, wasn't it? Pass right through the crease. Drew Shore, of course.
Playing cross to it, trying to feed Hoodler. That's broken up. David Moss works the puck to center. Cross-ice pass, hopped away from Reeder. He stepped in offside. Didn't touch the puck, though, as Monahan clears. Yuri Hoodler trying to get after it. Ekman Larson will get there first and gave it away in the corner. Sean Monahan, nice play to Russell on the backhand. Russell out front with a shot. He put it just wide, trying to go stick side on Smith. Monahan kept the play onside. Flames pressuring here. We're still scoreless, nearly midway through the first period. Reeder gets the puck behind the net to the other side to Stone, and he'll drop it off again as Ekman Larson settles things down. Shots 4-3, Arizona. Michael Stone waits calmly behind his own net. Puck played into the Calgary end. Weidman back, pressured by Vitale, turns away from him, finds Backlund, and he'll feed it across on the backhand to Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau carries over the line. Down the wing, Gaudreau will cut behind the net. Out the other side, Gaudreau still with control. All the way back to the blue line. Johnny Gaudreau with a long shot, put it wide of the goal. Puck bounces free on the other side to McMillan. Brandon McMillan carries out the safety and dumps the puck in. Rafael Diaz goes back to it.
Not a lot of offense so far generated by either squad, but I think defensively they both say they're awfully happy with what they've given up.
Pass by Englund didn't connect. May have been icing, but Mike Smith comes out to play the puck. McCulloch will flip it out to center. Vermette knocks it down and feeds it into Erat. Dropped it off to Antoine Vermette. Along the boards, gave it away near the line. Chopped off the glass by Bolig and out. Zbynek McCulloch. Head up, skates the puck out over his own line and fires it in. Brody on the other side will play it back to the near boards. And Joe Colborne has room to bring it out. The Coyotes were changing. Colborne carries over the line. They go offside. 9:13 to go here in the first. Flames have had some chances. Chris Russell with a good opportunity, but missed the net. We're still scoreless in Glendale. Telus and the Calgary Flames present the We Heart Flames contest. Show your love and post a picture of your Flame spirit on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag We Heart Flames during the telecast for a chance to win big.
Sure been great this season to watch the confidence grow of Johnny Gaudreau. You know, the season didn't start the way he wanted to, but every time it seems now that he has the puck, willing to try all sorts of things. He certainly doesn't panic, and he's a guy that is going to be up for the Calder Trophy, I would have to think. There's going to be some other great players he's going up against, of course, but we'll see.
Still second rookie scoring, 32 points. Philip Forsberg with 39. Big hit thrown by Boma at center ice. That's Boma, 7th in the NHL in hits to this point in the season.
And he hits hard, too. It's one thing to get hits. Some of his are devastating.
Bodker over the line. He's been hot. Drops it off for Gagne. Down low for Mikhail Bodker. Yandel activated out front of the goal, but the pass never got there as Bodker worked it out the other side. Keith Yandel retreats. Martin Hansel, 6'6", couldn't knock down the pass, though, as the Flames take it away. And the puck's cleared out by Drew Shore a little too hard. Icing called on Calgary.
Good for luck, warmth, and assuming a different identity. Want to get your What Happens Here Stays Here on? Book now at LasVegas.com.
Column on the left will show you the stretch from October 8th to the 16th. 5 games, no points for Johnny Gaudreau. Column on the right, it's pretty impressive. 37 games, 32 points, plus 8. I'd say that's quite the turnaround, Rick.
Right off the draw, Stone got a good shot away. Ortio made a nice save. Puck comes outside the zone. The Coyotes try and work it back in and do. Erat just inside the line with a shot, tipped just wide of the goal. Lesio got a stick on that on the redirect. Chris Russell battling down low. Nice play to Glenn Cross. Yuri Hudler ahead of the play. Couldn't quite reach the pass. Another icing call on Calgary.
You know, Chris Russell does so much for a guy that by NHL standards may be a little bit undersized, but watch the play on Ekman Larsson right here. Just a great stick right there. Separates Ekman Larsson from the puck. You don't always have to be physical, and I'm not telling you Russell doesn't have that component to his game, but he's just such a thinker of the game, and he's effective because of it.
Off the draw, Samuelson puts it behind the net to Moss. Try to come out front, turns to the forehand with a shot off the outside of the goal. Giordano trying to clear. Moss able to steal it, keep the play onside. Behind the net, Russell's there. Fires it up the near side, chipped towards the center of the ice by Glenn Cross, and here goes Monahan through the neutral zone. Flips one in, a bouncer on goal. Smith scoops up the puck and hangs on for a whistle. No more Devin Dubnyk, Kelly, so
Michael Lee.
Michael Lee's the backup to Mike Smith tonight.
Absolutely, and the Coyotes, I think, want to get an idea what sort of depth they have. I know they've had some injury problems with their goaltenders down in the minors and so on. And Devin Dubnyk, I've got to tell you, I know the crew in Toronto, the studio crew, had talked about that. It's a pretty good pickup, you know, in the summer. You pay him $1 million, and then 4 months later, you get a third-round draft choice in a really good draft year. It's pretty good, I'd say, play by the Arizona Coyotes. And Devin Dubnyk's got his game back.
John Shannon saying a lot of credit needs to go to Sean Burke, the goalie coach here in Arizona, has done a great job.
One of the 3 best goaltending coaches in the National Hockey League by John's estimation.
Michael Backlund with the puck, works it across his own line, then drops it off to Chris Russell. Ahead to Dennis Weidman, who works it in. Long shot, blockered away by Smith. Steers the puck right to Mikhail Bodker, who falls down in the corner. Gaudreau stole it, put it behind the net, but Yandle's there to take it away. He finds Marty Hansel, who brings the puck to center ice at the end of his shift. Across to Bodker. Bodker trying to work it out front. Another poke check by Chris Russell. Now Sam Gagne in the corner. His pass out front bounces off Ortio. He's down. Puck's loose for a second. Finally able to cover up for a whistle.
Another smart play by Chris Russell. Very dangerous. Michael Bodker coming straight at him. Bodker hot 4 goals last 3 games, and Russell just takes away the puck off the stick and then plays his angles properly. It's a really smart play between he and the puck carrier all the time for Chris Russell.
Staging against Vitale on the faceoff. Shots are 7 apiece. Scoreless game. First period here in Arizona. Flames win the draw, but Brandon McMillan onto the puck on the far side, knocked down by Englund. Staging comes in and battles. Vitale got it back to the line and hopped over the stick of Ekman Larsson all the way down the ice. His game has really turned around. Oliver Ekman Larsson from the start of the year when he was struggling.
Absolutely. He's good again. Beginning of the year, not so much.
Brandon Boley on the forecheck gets the puck free. Dropped it off, but it's tipped towards the corner, back up the boards. McMillan there to take it away, and he'll bring it out for Arizona. Brandon McMillan to center ice, chips it in, heads in by himself on the forecheck. Just missed Englund with a hit. Puck comes to Rafa Diaz, and he'll feed it for Staging. Cleared the zone, McCulloch took it away. Out to Antoine Vermette, dropped it off at his own line, fed ahead by Samuelson and tipped into the Calgary end, right on goal. Ortio will steer that aside. Flames control it. Weidman, bank pass for Colborne. That didn't connect. Kept on side by Erat, but he's checked, and a good play there by Shore. And now Weidman's able to clear. Samuelson's pass to Vermette, dropped off in the neutral zone. Vermette got it back. He'll work it in left side. Knocked down by Colborne. Following up is Lesio with a shot, and Ortio makes another save. Puck played off the glass towards the blue line. Not out. McCulloch pinched to keep it in. Chris Russell pokes the puck over to Weidman, and he finds Lance Bowman at center ice. Hopped off a stick. Following up, though, is Drew Shore. Shore with a long wrister up high on Smith. Took it off the chest and hung on as we get a little pushing and shoving following the whistle. But cooler heads prevail. 5:20 left first period. No score. Flames and Coyotes in Arizona. The Calgary Hitmen will honor NHL star and Hitman alumnus Ryan Getzlaf for the contributions he has made to the organization as a player and a person on Sunday afternoon. That is this coming Sunday when they host the Regina Pats, 4 o'clock at the Saddledome. Bring the family and purchase your tickets today at a special price of $15 by visiting hitmanhockey.com to take in Sunday's Forever a Hitman induction with Ryan Getzlaf.
What a season he's having too, huh? People talking in the West anyways that maybe Hart Trophy. What do you think?
I'm certainly in consideration,
Absolutely.
especially the way that team is going too.
Yeah.
And he's a big part of their success, obviously. Puck bouncing out front, shot by Glencross, blocked. Right back to Brody. He'll get it away. Tipped on goal by Monahan, steered aside by Smith. Yuri Hoodler gets the loose puck. Works it back to the line. Cross to Brody. Turning on the boards as Brody's all tied up. Still battling though. Puck finally squirts free out of traffic along the wall. Ekman Larsson will play it behind the net to Stone. Puck bounces off the glass. Chipchura is there to feed it ahead. Up the center ice to Oliver Ekman Larsson, who flips it in. Racing onto it is Kyle Chipchura. Now Sam Gagner, the former Oiler, plays a pass to Mikkel Bodker, back to Gagner along the boards. Behind the net for Chipchura, never got it there. In fact, Bodker wound up taking control on the far side. All the way back to the line, plays the puck to the boards to Gagner. Gagner, Bodker, one-timer, that deflects, hit traffic out front, blocked by Brody, puck still loose. Gagner got it again with a shot that he put just wide of the goal. TJ Brody tied up by Bodker, who stole it away. Fed it back to the line, but the puck comes outside the zone. 4 minutes left, scoreless first period. Giordano blew a tire, but able to make a play as he fell. Arizona changing. Shots now 9-8 in favor of the Flames, but it's been a tight defensive first period.
Both teams have really only had 1 or 2 good scoring chances.
Sam Gagner's had the best, and it was a great chance.
A great chance
in the
early on.
Opening minutes of the game, and Ortio made a spectacular save. Nice job by Gaudreau to steal a puck at center and backhand it in. David Jones racing onto it. Got it behind the net, but lost the puck. He was checked. It slides ahead to Korpikoski, who works it out. Taken away by Russell. He's had a strong first period. Backlund over the line with a shot blocked. Puck comes free. Corralled by Vitale. And McMillan's there to clear. Dennis Weidman will fire it back in. Still sitting on 10 goals this season. He was hot early in the year, but hasn't scored in 16 games.
Still great at that first pass leaving the Flame zone.
Paul Byron racing onto a loose puck in the offensive zone. Behind the net to Matt Stajan. Stajan trying to get it out front. Erat stole the puck, and then it's knocked off his stick by Bollig. And the puck winds up going off the glass and out of play. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first period.
Sean Monahan puts himself in good position right here. The high slot, there's the tip, the shot from Brody. Tipped by Monahan. Those are always so difficult. And here Brody right in front of his own net, blocking the shot right there, getting his glove on it. Not afraid of injury, of course. I, on the other hand, would have been.
That was your job. You were a goalie. You're supposed to block the
You're
puck.
right. I just didn't block very many or very well.
Flames lead the league in that category,
Yeah.
and Chris Russell leads all of the Flames and the entire NHL in blocks. Boma off the draw with a shot. That deflects high over top of the net, around the boards, up the other side. Kept in by Calgary, but Vermette, who had lost a stick, got it back in time to get the puck behind the goal. Ahead to Zbynek McCulloch, who flips it in. Might be an icing call, but Lesio gets there first. Bumped by Weidman in the corner. Erat comes in to help out. Lesio winds up with the puck. Back to Samuelsson, across to McCulloch. Got a shot away, never got it through. Blocked by Russell. Puck bounces back to the blue line. Samuelsson will feed it down low. Martin Erat gets control. Plays it to Lesio. Side of the goal to Vermette. Back out front. That's blocked by Russell. The puck goes off the stick of Vermette, wide of the goal. Arizona buzzing here. Weidman winds up with control and finds Boma at center ice. He'll chop it past McCulloch and then head off on a change. Final 2 minutes of the opening period. McCulloch back to the loose puck in his own end. Will bring it out. Lifts it in. Giordano pressured by Hansel. Giordano goes down. Bodker in support, gets the puck out front. One-timer deflects on goal. Nice stop by Ortio on the redirect, and the rebound's cleared out. Meantime, Hansel and Giordano do a bit of pushing and shoving. Giordano not happy with that hit. Martin Hansel tips it in. Ortio out of the goal. He's been sharp in this first period. When he's had to be. Not a lot of shots, as Kelly mentioned, but a couple of good chances. Gaudreau couldn't take the pass. David Moss over the line. Dropped it off to Reeder. Blocked it away by Ortio. Puck comes back to the line. Ekman Larsson with a shot off the wing. Glove save Ortio. And he falls on top of the rebound and hangs on.
Coyotes had a little bit more pressure here the last 2 minutes. A couple good chances. See, chance right here. It's deflected by Brody and gives Ortio all kinds of problems, but Giordano quickly jumps on that before Sam Gagner can get his stick on it. It's been pretty noticeable. Coyotes a little bit more pressure. Rick, there's no question what Dave Tippett and his staff want from their team offensively, and that's to cycle pucks down low and get offensive chances from there.
Clean win for Vitale on the draw. Shot from the point. Deflects wide of the goal into the corner where it's picked up by Chipchura. Back to the line to Murphy. Across to Yandel with a long shot. That goes wide of the goal. Final minute of play in the period. Off the boards, Byron finds Backlund. Three Flames work it through center. Backlund's pass for Weidman tipped at the line, and they go in offside.
Brought to you by Toyota. Toyota's Boxing Month event is on now at a Toyota dealer near you.
So the Calgary Flames, I think, have had a really good road period here, coming off their 1-0 road win in Vancouver. And I think with only 52.6 seconds left, if it all stays this way, both teams would be pretty happy with their period.
Off the draw, the puck goes to the corner. Sam Gagner battles with Brody. Hansel in there as well. He's checked by Staging. Good play by Matt Staging. Gets the puck to Brody. Nice pass to Colborne at center. Across to Boma. Picks it up off the boards, but put himself offside. 38 seconds to go in the period.
Say this is another strong period by Yanni Ortio. Really solid, Rick. He's had 11 shots, as you said, but I think it's just his demeanor when you talk to people around the organization, take a look at his work Saturday versus Vancouver, but when you talk about him with people in the organization, they talk about the way in which he carries himself, and I've always said this about good goaltenders. It's kind of like you're a general back there. You always look in control, nothing ever really bothers you, and that's what we see from him.
Team feeds off that too. If you look
Yes.
confident, they play with confidence.
Louis DeBrusk talked about that with Leah and John also, that it really carries over, and if you look at your goaltender, he looks relaxed, you're relaxed.
Brandon McMillan there to clear the zone. Final 15 seconds of the opening period as Brody goes back to the puck. Stops him behind the net. And nobody's going to go after him, so he'll stand there and watch the time tick down. Guy Boucher back in the league. That'll do it. First period comes to an end. Coyotes outshoot the Flames 11-9, but we're still scoreless in Arizona. As we hand things back to the studio, here's Leah. Telus Flames hockey on Sportsnet back at Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona, where the Flames and the Coyotes are scoreless, getting set for the start of the second period. Scoring not an issue in their first 3 meetings of the season, Kelly. The Flames won them all. They had 13 goals in those 3 games.
Yeah, fast-paced action, lots of scoring. Paul Byron scored 2. That was November 13th. Late in the second period, Giordano put the Flames up 4-3. They ended up winning that one 5-3. And then Kari Ramo, November 29th, in this same building. Hat trick, or I'm sorry, shutout. I'm a little ahead of myself. A few nights later, back at the Dome, Josh Juris with the hat trick. That was December 2nd. So getting it done all sorts of different ways, the Calgary Flames versus the Arizona Coyotes. And we'll have to see what happens tonight, see if they can't go perfect 4-0.
Take a look at the scoring summary in the first period.
Pretty even, of course. Block shots pretty even. Hits maybe a little bit slight advantage for the Calgary Flames. No power plays. Shots advantage 11-9 for the Coyotes. And we'll see if we can't generate maybe a little bit more scoring opportunities anyways. Maybe not the goals going in, but more opportunities.
2 of the best opportunities were by the Coyotes. The best, Sam Gagner early in the game. Point blank range. Ortio looked like he was down and out.
Yes.
Somehow got that glove hand along the goal line and made a great save. As the second period is underway, TJ Brodie played it ahead off the skate of Jones, taken away by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, retreating into his own zone. And Gagner will bring it back out for Arizona. Fires the puck around the glass. Giordano checked in the corner. Martin Hansel trying to flip it back behind the goal. That went off the glass and out of play. 22 seconds into the period.
Calgary Flames prepare for the big road trip right here. You look at that big win in Vancouver tonight, Saturday in San Jose, LA Monday, Anaheim Wednesday, and then they get a break again, as all teams do. I guess Mark Giordano doesn't, though, does he? He has to go to Columbus for the All-Star game along with Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Coyotes work the puck back to the line. There's Ekman-Larsson firing it behind the net. Battle down low, winds up in the far corner. Erat's pass deflected off the stick of Boma down the ice. Curtis Glencross did not come out of the Flames room after the end of the first period, Kelly, so we'll try and get an update on him. Right now the Flames down a forward as the Coyotes ice the puck.
And Glencross having an effect in this game with some big physical hits. So we'll see what Bob Hartley does to shuffle the lines and so on. I think that safe to say Drew Shore's been pretty good. I thought especially defensively in zone, not getting lost in coverage.
Backlund facing off against Vermette after the icing call, but the Coyotes win the draw. Erat's there to clear the zone. Racing after it is Lesio, along with Weidman. Johnny Gaudreau gets control of the puck, finds Michael Backlund. He'll bring it out through center ice over the line. Gaudreau goes to the front of the goal. There's a shot. They score! Backlund's got the hot hand, but it may have been tipped by Gaudreau, and it's 1-0 Calgary.
Boy, that's all that the Arizona Coyotes need, right? Another bad goal or whatever you want to call it. I think when Michael Backlund takes this shot, it might hit Keith Yandle. I'm not sure if it's Gaudreau, but it's certainly deflected along the way. So Backlund now scores in 4 straight. Yeah, I think that's off Yandle.
I agree.
Just the body language alone by Mike Smith would tell you that things are not well right now. And this has been the problem. He's let in a goal like that, even though that one's a deflection. It's been really difficult for him to recover after those sorts of goals. So let's take a look if he has the mental ability right now, capabilities to fight through it.
Shot by Reeder off the outside of the goal. Ortio's down awkwardly, and he's able to freeze the puck long enough for a whistle. It's the scramble in the crease. Lines up with the puck under Yoni Ortio.
Reeder shoots it. Ortio puts it nicely to the back, but look how quickly that comes off the boards. And Moss is in there trying to just sort of gently stuff it in the open side, but Ortio did a nice job of tracking that. At that point, he kind of loses where the puck is, but he's going to try and just sort of shuffle his pads out of the net to make sure that if it had crossed the line, nobody could see it, and when ultimately we get our eye on it, it's not in the net. Those goaltenders, they're tricky, aren't they?
You got to just scooch over a little
Yep.
bit just to make sure. Like a catcher moving that ball over the
There you
plate
go.
at the last second to fool the umpire. Backlund from Boma and Weidman. How about Michael Backlund? He comes off the injury. He missed 29 games. And he scored now in 4 straight. I mean, that's remarkable. I can recall that first game back, Kelly. You thought it would take him a while to get back in shape.
I did. We were talking about it on the air, so let's take a look at his work. Right here, of course, started in his first game back versus the Detroit Red Wings, and then against the Florida Panthers, of course, Saturday in Vancouver, and then tonight, just a scoring machine. Just think what would have happened if he would have played all the games. He missed 29 with that injury.
Be on pace for 82 goals.
But Michael Backlund does so much more now. He's a great two-way player. Underrated even. Bob Hartley said that this morning, that a lot of people don't recognize how good a player he is in both ends of the ice.
Korpikoski with the puck in the Calgary zone. Turns along the boards, drops it off down low for Brandon McMillan. Behind the net to Joe Vitale. Out front, pass deflected away by Ortio. Got a stick in the way of that one. It comes all the way back to the line. Kept onside by Samuelson. Chris Russell there to flip it ahead. Off a glove to the line, and it's outside the zone. It's kicked in by Paul Byron at the end of his shift. Fired through center ice, picked off by Brody. He'll bring it right back in for Calgary. His pass to Hoodler didn't connect, broken up by Hansel. Gives it back to Brody. Gaudreau carries in down the wing. Stops on the half boards. Back to the line of Brody with room to shoot. Passes instead. Giordano in close out front. Tip wide of the goal by Hoodler. Puck comes free to Sam Gagner. Across to Mikhail Bodker, who brings it out to center. Hansel with him. Bodker stops just inside the line. Flips it across to Ekman Larsson at the left point. Down low, bounces behind the net. Giordano's there, up the boards. Kept onside. Gagner's pass intercepted by Brody. He'll bring it out late in his shift. Dropped it off to Backlund. Michael Backlund over the line. Swings wide with a shot. Block, bounces free to Hoodler. Hoodler's tied up and stumbles. Penalty coming up to the Coyotes as Yuri Hoodler was taken down. I think Hansel might be going off. He brings Hoodler to the ice again. Monahan onto the puck. Extra attacker out for Calgary. Delay call on Arizona. Here's Russell making a move. Over to Weidman. Tip pass to Hoodler. Yuri Hoodler looking out front. Turns along the boards. Bumped by Hansel. Monahan tipped it down low. Lance Boma in traffic. Knocked off his stick. Touched by Stone. And Calgary gets the first power play of the game.
Another player coming back from injury for the Coyotes, Martin Hansel. He missed 5 games. He gets a stick in between the legs of Yuri Hoodler. And so he's going to go to the penalty box for 2 minutes or less for the Coyotes. This is the first power play of the game. But if Calgary Flames want to take advantage of this power play, get pucks to the net. I talked about that earlier as one of the keys to the game, knowing just how fragile the Coyotes are, and especially Mike Smith after a bad break.
1-0 Calgary leading. 16:35 left in the second period. Flames get the first power play of the night. Power play that's tied for 19th in the league. Coyotes' penalty kill is the second worst in the NHL, but they win the faceoff and fire it down the ice.
Which makes a lot of sense. If your goaltender's struggling, I mean, put 2 and 2 together.
Cliche, your best penalty
There
kill
you
is
go.
the guy standing between the pipes. Nice move by David Jones trying to get in. Puck knocked off a stick to the corner. Monahan trying to get it there. Taps it back to the line to Russell, who works it across as they get it set up. Russell to Brody. TJ Brody. Back to Joe Colborne to Chris Russell to Colborne. Hopped over his stick. Jones tips the puck to Colborne. Lost it at the side of the goal. It comes right back to Russell. Russell, nice play. Colborne, Monahan rather, trying to pull the trigger on a shot with Colborne out front. That shot was blocked. Brody back to the line of Russell. TJ Brody now has traffic in front. Won't shoot it. Over to Colborne in the circle. Colborne got a shot away. That's blocked on a good play by Samuelson, and Philip Samuelson there to clear the zone.
Much like his dad. Seen Alfie do that many, many times in his great NHL career.
Colborne back in. Leaves the puck for Michael Backlund. Pass picked off by Vermette and fired down the ice by Samuelson.
Coach Dave Tippett showing a lot of confidence in the youngster,
Absolutely.
right? Out there killing a penalty. Got to try and see what he has in these young players.
Dennis Weidman with 40 seconds left in the power play finds Yuri Hoodler, who works the puck in. Hoodler down the wing with a pass out front. That deflects high. Backlund to it on the far side. Turns away from a hit. Puck comes to Hoodler. Back to the blue line. Now Weidman, top of the circle with a shot. Put it wide. Puck goes around the boards and out. That opened up, but he missed the net. And apparently isn't happy about it.
He doesn't miss the net very often. That's one of his qualities.
Chipchura off the glass and out, and that should do it as the puck goes to Reeder. Final few seconds in the power play. His shot goes wide. As the penalty comes to an end, Hansel steps out of the box. No shots for the Flames on that man advantage. Still 1-0 Calgary. 5.5 minutes into the second period. Bollig plays the puck in. Races after it himself, tied up on the end boards. Hansel gets to it. Russell almost stole it, but taken away by Sam Gagner, who flips it out. Matt Stajan knocked it down at center ice. Played it across the line to Bollig, but he'd gone in offside. Well, the Flames have their first goal of the game. We have our first winner and score and win. On behalf of Safeway and Quaker Crispy Minis or Rice Cakes, Barbara Clark of Calgary has won a Blu-ray prize pack from E1. Congratulations to you, Barbara.
Michael Backlund, numbers right here. Boy, it tells you everything, doesn't it? 4 goals, 6 points, plus 4. And how about 12 shots on goal? That's a confident player getting all those shots. Just even when he heads up through the neutral zone with the puck, he just looks like a guy that really believes in what he's doing.
Bob Hartley said this year, since coming off the injury, he's been so much more willing to go to the net.
Right, yeah.
And that's a big part of the reason why he's scoring, although that shot was from outside.
Right.
Joe Colborne onto the puck in the offensive zone. On the backhand, try to come out front. That puck was blocked in. Coyotes able to work it out. Hansel's pass broken up at center ice. Another good play by Chris Russell, who's had a strong game so far. Fires it in for Calgary.
And good back pressure by Colborne to allow that play by Russell.
TJ Brody settles things down in his own zone. Flames make a change up front. Brody over to Russell. Back to Brody. Backlund fires it in. Smith out of the goal, stops it behind the net. Stone in the corner. He's tied up. Hansel comes to help out. Weidman pinches from the near point, but the puck got past him and out to the neutral zone. Mark Giordano lead pass. Johnny Gaudreau tipped it in. He'll head after it himself. Gaudreau behind the net, threw it out front. Missed everybody. Taken away by Hansel with help from Keith Yandel. They'll clear the zone out to center ice. Yuri Hoodler to Dennis Weidman. Weidman tries a toe drag, couldn't get it around Yandel, who winds up with the puck and then plays it to the far corner. Now Marty Erat takes a pass, wheels through center ice. Erat carries over the line. Byron watching him on the far boards. Nice play to Vermette out front with a shot. Blocked bravely by Giordano. It goes off him and all the way out. Good play by the Flames captain. Another block for Calgary. Zbigniew McCulloch with a lead pass. Antoine Vermette at center. Lesio tipped it in. Gets around Weidman. Onto the puck in the corner. Dropped it off for Vermette. Vermette watched by Monahan. Plays the puck to the far side. Lesio works it up the boards. Backhand pass down low for Vermette. Knocked away from him. Samuelson bumped by Jones. Kept onside at the left point by Lesio. Into the corner now for Vermette. Back out front. Samuelson with a shot. And that hit traffic, or Ortio got a piece of it. Either way, it stayed out to the far side. Cleared out by Calgary. Arizona has to tag up. That gives Diaz time to go back to the loose puck. 8 minutes gone. Second period. 1-0 Flames lead. Michael Backlund's 5th of the season. And 4th in 4 games. Brandon Bollig trying to fire the puck in. Hit the linesman. And Dennis Weidman goes back to it for Calgary. Diaz bank past the stage and tried to tip it through to Boma. Didn't connect. Broken up by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Here goes Chipchura back the other way. Kyle Chipchura over the line. Reeder early on the near side goes offside at the Calgary blue line. 11:36 to go. Flames lead the league in blocks. Arizona gets one there, though, as Calgary leads 1-0 in the second period. Jamin donates $100 for every Flames hit to the fight against multiple sclerosis. Join the fight at Jamin.com.
Well, if you believe in stats, this tells you everything. Last season, there are 7 games above 500, goal differential -15, which still isn't great, but this year, 16, 22, 4, -40 goal differential. Currently 13th in the West, and that's why they are in a rebuild.
Coyotes control the puck in their own zone as Yandel feeds it across. Flames up 1-0 on that goal by Backlund. Assist to Gaudreau and Weidman, not Boma. Joe Colborne drops it off. Derek Englund brings the puck out. Fires it across on the other side. Diaz will flip it in and head off on a change. Colborne on the forecheck. Taps it behind the net. There's Boma onto it there. Behind the goal now for Shore. Drew Shore trying to get control. Gets some help from Colborne. Former teammates at the University of Denver. Joe Colborne's been his guide since getting to Calgary.
They're sitting beside each other today in the dressing room as well.
Hansel's pass for Bodker broken up at the Calgary line. Colborne takes control. He'll wheel out the center ice. Big Joe Colborne through the neutral zone. Knocked off a stick right to Boma on the backhand. Colborne had fallen. Boma tried to feed it back to him. Puck bounces in the air. There's Backlund. Cross-ice pass. Giordano down the boards. Mark Giordano out front. Boma with a shot. Put it wide. Nice setup by the captain, but Boma missed the net. Threw his head back out of frustration as he heads off to finish off a change. Keith Yandel cut off at center ice by Gaudreau. Puck flipped towards the Calgary line, settled down there by TJ Brody. Across to Diaz, up to Gaudreau with a bit of room, works the puck in. Turns on the boards. Johnny Gaudreau handed it away to Yandel. And he'll try and clear it. Gaudreau kept it in with a pass out front to Hudler, trying to get to the forehand, knocked off a stick, and the Coyotes wind up icing the puck. Just past the midway mark of the second period.
Official scoring.
Some good puck movement by the Calgary Flames. They get a chance to shoot wide, but Michael Backlund with a nice saucer pass to Giordano, and watch Boma right in the high slot, sort of sneak away from traffic and get this chance right here, right away from the defenders. It's that lane right there and misses the net. That's one he's got to put on net.
Off the drop, puck comes near side to Jones. Byron turning in the corner. Gets the puck to the circle, knocked off his stick, and it's cleared out by McMillan. No icing on that play. That allows the Coyotes to change. 9.5 minutes to go. Second period, 1-0 Calgary as Russell works it ahead. Over the line comes Byron, tips it far side. Puck slides out front. Smith poked it away off the skate of Ekman Larsson. Bounces into the corner. Marty Erat chips it up the boards, and it clears the zone just outside the line. Paul Byron muscles it back in. He's tied up along the wall. Jones comes over to help out. And he's able to play it deep at the end of his shift. Stone back to it. Ekman Larsson now. Slowly out of his own end. Tipped in by Vermette. Not deep. Weidman cut it off and cleared. This might be icing on Calgary. They wave it off. Boma hard on the forecheck. Throws another hit in the corner. Staging comes in to help out. Puck kick behind the goal. The former Flame David Moss there to pick it up. Lesio clears. Batted back in by Giordano. All of a sudden Calgary's keeping Arizona hemmed in their own end. It's amazing what a goal will do for a change in tempo and momentum. David Moss ran into Giordano, saw him coming, lost the puck. Brody with a pass to Gaudreau, left it at the line, picked up by Giordano. He'll work it in. Mark Giordano across, looking for Gaudreau, tipped by Moss. And he backhands the puck towards the blue line. Kept in by Mark Giordano with a wrister wide. Bounces free side of the goal. Yuri Hudler trying to get it out front. That hit McCulloch's skate. Pass back out front by Backlund, never got there. Backlund gets it back. Gaudreau goes out front of the goal. Michael Backlund battling down low. Samuelson will flip it up the boards. Derek Englund pinches from the point, but Reeder took it away and cleared. Flames changing. Just off the bench is Diaz to get to the puck at his own line.
Moss was tired, otherwise he would have easily had a breakaway.
Dangerous pass by Diaz to Englund, but Chipchura couldn't steal it. Now Reeder gets the puck at center and plays it back in. Kyle Chipchura works the puck on the backhand, throws it out front. Yandel with a shot. Nice stop by Ortio. Rebound picked up by Bodker. Mikkel Bodker to the slot. Hit the goalpost. It's in. He's been the hottest Coyote, and he ties the game at 1.
Some good pressure by the Coyotes. Like how Chipchura finds a high slot right there. Gets a good chance from Yandel, but they keep the pressure on Bodker that has now 5 goals in his last 4 games. Just incredible skating ability right there. Cuts back out front. And Ordio's in good position, actually. That's just a perfect shot. Barker gets away from traffic right there, and that quick release. And he stays red hot.
Shot off the wing, glove down by Smith, covers up for a face-off. 7:16 to go here in the second period. After a scoreless first, we've got a couple of goals. The Flames and the Coyotes tied at 1.
Calgary's known for the Flames and the Rockies. Let's take a look at what's happening at the Rockies' best resorts.
Well, they are the next ones, the future of the NHL. Lawson Crouse takes 200 skill shots a day. Hashtag what to win. One game. Just over 7 minutes left, second period here in Glendale, Arizona. As off the draw, the Coyotes work it out. McMillan over the line. Beats it low for Vitale behind the net to Korpikoski on the other side. Watched by Giordano. Puck comes for the circle. A shot never got through. Blocked there by Byron. Flames clear the zone to an open wing. Brody trying to get there. Knocked away from him. David Jones follows up. Dropped it off in his own end. Giordano makes a play to TJ Brody. Now all of a sudden the Coyotes have energy. Vitale with a shot. The rebound. Ortio makes another save as he sprawls on with a glove hand. As that chance came out of nowhere, suddenly Vitale found himself all alone in front of the net. And a nice stop, and then another one by Joni Ortio.
Momentum has changed, Rick. There's Vitale. That's a fourth line right there. Getting a chance. Good wrister right there. Lauri Korpikoski. Similar to the Gagne play early in the game, in which Ortio just stretched out on his glove side, reached behind him, and takes away that opportunity. So, Joni Ortio, I like the fact that he's of course has a great style he plays, but he's willing to abandon it to make a save at the very end if you have to.
By the way, shutout streak with the Bodker goal ends at 92 minutes and 36 seconds. 51 straight saves for Joni Ortio.
Good game now, Rick.
Yes,
In the first period, we had very few scoring chances. Now it's really opened up.
Old broadcast partner of mine, Tom Larshire, used to say this game needs a goal.
I like that.
We've got a couple. And you're right, things have opened up a bit here in Glendale in a 1-1 game. Bouncing puck in the Calgary zone. Tap back to the line. Gagne can't keep it onside. Shots are 18-11 Coyotes. McCulloch retreats into his own end. Plays it ahead. Marty Erat will work it in. Fires the puck around the boards. Antoine Vermette onto it. Back to Erat. Up the boards to the right point. Murphy's there. His pass didn't get through. Sits loose just inside the line. Murphy able to keep the play alive. Here's Vermette in the high slot. Feeds it over to Yandel with a shot. Put it wide. Puck goes around the boards and out to center ice.
Look out, Keith Yandel starting to get dangerous. Didn't notice him much in the first period for anything offensively. Now here in the last 3 minutes, he's had a couple of good chances.
Third in the league right now with active Ironman streaks. 428. 428 straight game. Second is Antoine Vermette. His teammate. Stone deep in the zone. Plays it up the boards. Paul Byron trying to work it off the wall in traffic. It winds up behind the net where Stone regains control and then fed it across. Nobody there. It bounces off the boards right to Lesio. He's able to clear, but he hands it away at center ice to Joel Colborne. 5 minutes to go in the period. Drew Short backhands it in high. Smith gloves that and hangs on. We'll take a break. 4:54 to go. Middle frame. It's a 1-1 game. The Flames and the Coyotes. Telus Flames Hockey on Sportsnet. Safeway's feature participating product for tonight's game is Quaker Crispy Minis or Rice Cakes. CP Goals for Kids is proudly sponsored by Canadian Pacific and its 2,700 railroaders based in Calgary. For every Flames goal this season, the Railway will donate $250 to Kids Sport and the Flames Even Strength program. Keep scoring, Flames, and help CP build stronger kids and stronger communities. 1-1 score in Arizona, 4:54 left second period. Face off in the Coyote zone. And they'll work it out the center. Reeder with control, carries in down the wall. Chips the puck to the corner, gets onto it himself behind the net. Chipchura's there up front for Moss with a shot. Ortio makes the save. Puck comes loose. And it's cleared out by Yuri Hudler. Yandel back to it. Connor Murphy, lead pass too far for Tobias Reeder, so TJ Brodie able to settle it down on his own end. Brodie plays it over to Mark Giordano. Hoodler carries in. Drop pass to the line. Brodie one hands it ahead, but Yandel intercepts. Backlund battles, feeds the puck to the corner. Yandel gets back to it. Pressured by Yuri Hoodler. Reeder's there to lift it out to center ice. Russell settles it down and back to his own line for Weidman. Weidman's pass in the skates of Russell. Bodker carries in. Penalty coming up though because Monahan's stick was broken and it looks like it'll be a slashing call on the Coyotes, Kelly.
This is a bad time to take a penalty for the Coyotes considering that they had wrestled away the momentum. It's right at the top of the frame. That's Yandel again. That's a second penalty here tonight. Hansel just comes in. There's no question about that. He's a big, strong man, Hansel. And the David Moss chance right there, I just thought that was really good positioning by Moss to get open. Chipchura finds him from behind the net, but Moss just gets away from traffic, gets his stick in good position, stick on the ice, and that's why he is able to get that shot off so quickly. But boy, what a bad penalty from Hansel, considering that this is a Coyote team that is really starting to play well.
Second power play of the night for Calgary, 0 for 1, no shots on their first opportunity. They get it set up here, Weidman. Back to Giordano with a one-timer, put it just wide. Big bounce off the end boards, right back out front, but onto the stick of Vitale, who'll work at the center on the penalty kill. Flips the puck in. Dennis Weidman goes back to it. Puck fed ahead to Moss. He'll work it over the line. Lead pass tipped in by Giordano. Intercepted by McCulloch, who clears. Minute 20 left in the Calgary power play for Matt Hart on the forecheck on the penalty kill. Got it to Reeder. Tried to pass out front. Blocked by Giordano. Giordano back on his skates. Takes the pass. Fires it ahead to Colborne, who played it in. Lots of time for Ekman Larson. And played it off the stick of Giordano all the way down the ice.
Good to see Mark Giordano get up after that block. He went heavily into the end boards.
Giveaway up front, short-handed chance for Moss, and another save for Yoni Ortio off David Moss. Puck coughed up right in the slot, and Ortio had to be sharp to make that one.
Backlund has the puck right there, but good pressure from Erat to strip him of the puck, and Moss quick release, but Yoni Ortio, excellent position, top of the crease. Boy, is that a confident-looking goaltender. We've talked about that a couple times now in the broadcast about Ortio, just how he really does look as though he belongs. He believes it.
50 seconds left in this Calgary power play. In a 1-1 game. Nice move by Gaudreau. Works the puck in. Passes left side. Backlund shot up high on Smith. Makes the save and hangs on.
What a play through the neutral zone by Johnny Gaudreau. Showed a play in the first period how he just dangled and just looked as though he belongs. There's a play by Smith. You know, pretty impressive though the way that Smith and his teammates have rebounded from that unfortunate goal that was scored by Michael Backlund. I thought at that point that it was just going to cave in on him. That's what has been the case lately, but they've shown great resolve.
Flames on the power play for another 35 seconds. We'll try and get it set up here, but good work by Arizona's penalty kills. Mentioned 29th in the league, but they're doing a good job tonight as they fire it down the ice. TJ Brodie works it out and stops at center. Now finds Gaudreau, but he can't take the pass. Calgary having trouble gaining the zone with the power play.
Good positioning by McMillan to take away that play by Brodie.
And that'll do it in the Martin Hansel penalty as he gets back to his feet at the box. Steps out. Flames 0 for 2 with a man advantage. Boma trying to work it in, but Byron caught offside and the whistle blows. Minute 47 to go in the second period.
Team face-off percentage. Everybody, of course, wants to be good in the face-off circle. Teams, Detroit Red Wings leading the league. The Coyotes in 5th, which might surprise some people considering where they are in the standings. And the Flames see 27th overall. So I guess there's some bearing. And of course, you'd rather start with the puck than chasing it down, trying to get it back. But I think that sometimes that stat is overused, and it depends where the face-off is. This, of course, outside the blue line, really it doesn't matter who wins.
Yeah, there was a point early in the season when Carolina had yet to win a game.
Right.
And they had the best face-off percentage in the league.
Right.
So it can be a little overplayed, but you're right. Any given face-off
Yeah.
at a critical time is obviously important.
Now, and I'd rather have a great face-off man in my own zone, in the defensive zone, if
Absolutely.
that's where the face-off is, of course. But
Minute 39 to go in the period, and this is a defensive zone face-off for the Coyotes. Staging comes out for Calgary. Still no sign of Curtis Glencross, who did not come out after the first period. Staging against Vermette on the draw. Shots are 20-12 in favor of the Coyotes, and they win that face-off. Boma trying to throw a hit in the corner. Ekman Larsson just got out of the way in time. Battle for a loose puck along the near boards. TJ Brody's able to work it free. Plays it down low. Ekman Larsson took it away, up the wall, and out. Brody will go back to it. No icing on the play as Brody gets the puck in his own end around the boards to center. Flip back in. Lesio was offside, had to tag up. Mark Giordano has control. Captain clears, off a stick, intercepted by Ekman Larsson. Ahead to Vermette over the line. Vermette plays it on the right side to Lesio. 1 minute to play in the period. Puck played back to the point, across to Ekman Larsson. Ekman Larsson with a shot, tipped by Brody over top of his own net. Ties up Lesio. Vermette's there as well. Bollig trying to help out. Scrum ensues deep in the Calgary zone. Now Lesio winds up with the puck. Still in tight quarters. Turns away from pressure. Vermette wrap around. Cut off by Ortio. Bouncing puck in the slot. Ekman Larsson able to get it with a shot. That's blocked by TJ Brody on a good play, and the Flames will bring it out. Stajan with Boma. Boma going to the net. Stajan turns. Matt Stajan with room to shoot. Got it away, but it goes off the stick of Ekman Larsson over the glass and out of play.
quick wraparound from Vermette here. Those good hands. Ortio, of course, read this perfectly. There's absolutely nothing there along the ice. And then Brody takes a shot right here from Ekman Larsson. And we'll keep our eye on that. He didn't go down immediately, but he is certainly hobbled by that play. And you can see him on the bench. He's in some sort of discomfort.
16 seconds left in the period. Face-off win for the Flames. Chris Russell at the line. Gaudreau. His pass for Backlund didn't work. Broken up and cleared out. Here goes Bottker. Full score for the Coyotes down the wing, working on Weidman. Mikkel Bottker turns in the corner. Try to play it to McCulloch. That didn't connect, and that'll do it. Time ticks down. Second period comes to an end. Mikkel Bottker scores for the Coyotes. Michael Backlund for the Flames. 1-1 through 40 minutes in Arizona as we hand things back to Leah Hextall. Telus Flames hockey on Sportsnet. Welcome back to the desert in Arizona, where the Flames and the Coyotes are tied 1-1 through 40 minutes of play, getting ready for the third period faceoff. This week on Hockey Night in Canada, 6 choices of nationally televised games. Start your Saturday with Hockey Central Saturday at 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Mountain. Then it's the Leafs and Blues on CBC, Islanders and Canadiens on Sportsnet, Hurricanes, Senators on City, and Oilers Panthers on Sportsnet 1. All followed by the Flames and the Sharks from San Jose on CBC, 8 o'clock Mountain, and the Ducks Kings on Sportsnet. Visit sportsnet.ca/schedule for details. Curtis Glencross will not return with a lower body injury, Kelly. He missed he played the first, didn't come back to start the second.
And we might think it's right here in an effort to spin and shoot towards the Ducks or the Coyotes net. A little bit of discomfort right here. It's hard to tell on this one, but as he's going to go off at the top of the screen, there he is. He's flexing his knee, and he goes off shortly thereafter. But that's what we're kind of thinking might be the problem.
Let's check our second period scoring summary brought to you by Panago Pizza. Before, during, or after the game, get a fresh Panago.
2 hottest players in the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Backlund, 4 goals in 4 games. Bottker, 5 goals now in his last 4. So pretty good effort by those guys. Coyotes wide advantage in the second period shots on goal, 10-3. So 21-12 overall for the Coyotes.
Yeah, 3 shots ties the Flames for the lowest shot total in a period this season. second lowest, pardon me. They had 2 in the first period in that game against Chicago earlier in the year. But they find themselves in a 1-1 game, third period underway. Brody plays the puck across. Monahan brings it through center ice with speed over the line. Stops just inside the zone with a shot off the stick of Ekman Larsson. The puck goes over the glass, not a play.
Sean Monahan going back to last Friday, in fact. Bob Hartley was talking about trying to find more offensive opportunities for Monahan. Take him when you get him. He's so good in his own zone, so responsible there, but need to think a little bit more offensively every once in a while.
Face-off win for Backlund, too well, in fact. He put it off the glass and out. Brody goes to it inside his own zone, over to Giordano. Mark Giordano with a lead pass to Hoodler, tipped it in. Smith out of the goal to play it behind the net. Haven't seen him handle the puck much tonight. He usually likes to do that a lot, but fairly steady staying in his own crease. Now he's working over the line with a shot steered aside by Ortio.
I like it. He's actually a little bit quieter back there.
Dennis Weidman's pass. Hoodler got a stick on it to tip it deep and then head to the bench on a change as David Moss, who's had a couple of chances in this game, works it over the line. Dropped it off to Chipchura. Played it across. Pass blocked by Boma, who's able to tip the puck to center ice. Zbynek McCulloch over to Philip Samuelson. Back to McCulloch. Bank pass doesn't connect. Stolen instead. Shore turns on the far boards. McCulloch watching him. Shore gets the puck up front to Boma. Tip pass over to Colborne with a shot to miss the net. Giordano kept it in. Joe Colborne gets it again. Flames buzzing early in the period. Giordano back in the line with a long shot into traffic. Puck's under a body. It's McCulloch who's down. And he lays on top of the puck long enough for a whistle.
Talking about Mike Smith playing the puck. How about this dangerous play, though? Johnny Gaudreau, of course, one of the most dangerous players on the Flames. But then he does make a smart play right here. Right tape to David Moss. He goes towards the Flame zone, and then Colborne's going to get an excellent feed right here from Boma. And he's trying to pick that corner, Colborne, because Mike Smith is a big goaltender. 6'4", takes up a lot of the net, and so your shot, you feel, has to be perfect to find the corner.
Face off to the right of Smith, staging on the draw against Martin Hansel. Stajan wins the face-off. Rafael Diaz plays it behind the net to Bollig. Stajan goes out front. Bollig tries a wraparound. Smith shuts the door on the far side. And out come the Coyotes. Gagne feeds it in. Bodker trying to cut around Brody. Couldn't. Puck goes behind the net. Giordano off the board. Stone cut it off, but gave it away. Handed it right back to Giordano, who'll skate the puck over the line slowly. Up to Brandon Bollig. Dumps the puck in on the backhand. Ekman Larsson up to Sam Gagne. Long pass broken up at the Calgary line by Giordano, and Stajan will fire it back to his captain. Back to Stajan. Matt Stajan out the center. Hit by Hansel, but makes a nice play up the left wing to Jones with a shot. Glove save by Smith. Boma looking for a rebound. Smith able to hang on.
Introducing the new BF Goodrich KO2 tire. BF Goodrich. Take control.
You're not wrong if you think you see more wraparound attempts in the game today with the net 4 inches shallower. Brandon Bollig gets a good chance right there. David Jones actually had a nice wrist shot just after that as well. So nice scoring chances by the Calgary Flames.
Still 1-1 early third. Coyotes bring it out. McMillan dumps it in. Vitale on the forecheck. Tied up by Derek Englund, who winds up getting the puck and feeding it ahead to Lance Boma. Got the center, cut off there in the neutral zone by Connor Murphy. Smith plays it over on the far side. Boma almost stole it. Still battling. Yandels dropped his stick. Backlund gets the puck free to Hoodler. Diaz on the back door gets the puck, but it hopped off his stick back to the line and outside the zone. Derek Englund will fire it back in. Gaudreau trying to get there. Coyotes clear. Weidman just off the bench finds Chris Russell. Gaudreau kicks it ahead to Backlund, who works it over the line slowly. Tries a shot that misses. It goes around to Weidman on the far side. Weidman out front, looking for a redirect. Pass was blocked. Keith Yandel gets control. Off the stick to the line. And finally carried out to the neutral zone. Flipped in, not deep. Russell quick up for Gaudreau, and he put himself offside trying to reach the puck.
It's always a tough play when you're the defenseman and you have a player coming back out of the offensive zone and just what sort of angle or route they might take back into the offensive zone. That's why the miscommunication between Russell and Gaudreau. Can you imagine Johnny Gaudreau on that play? He would have had a complete breakaway as well.
Has a point tonight, an assist on the Flames' only goal by Michael Backlund. Cal Bodford, the goal for Arizona, both in the second period. That's where we sit, early third, 1-1 game. Bouncing puck at center ice. Coyotes wind up with control as McCauley drops it off in his own zone. Samuelson's pass. David Moss forced to play it back to McCulloch ahead of Chipchura. Lots of bodies in the neutral zone. Puck played deep. Derek Englund goes to it. Bank pass for Byron doesn't connect. Oliver Ekman-Larsson takes the puck in his own end. Long lead pass tipped in. Diaz back. Watched by Vermette, puts it off the glass and out. Ekman-Larsson retreats with control into his own zone. And out they come. Lucas Lacio over the line with a shot right into the stomach of Ortio, and he's able to hang on.
Intact Insurance Company, proud to partner with the Calgary Flames.
The league really encourages the defenseman getting involved in the offense, especially with shots on goal, and the Coyotes have done a nice job of that. 480 shots on their defenseman. It just hasn't translated into wins, but they're on the right track.
Stone off the draw, will try a shot. There's another one by the Coyotes defense. Gloved away by Ortio. Battle along the near boards. Erat turning, fires it back to the line. Ekman-Larsson with a shot, that goes just wide. Didn't miss by much. Puck around the boards to Bomo, who brings it out. Passes over to Brody. He'll carry it over the line. Monahan alone out front. Bouncer on goal. Stop, rebound, they score! Lance Bomo put the rebound in over top of Mike Smith, and it's 2-1 Calgary.
Calgary Flames take advantage of a play attacking the net. Boma with a nice play right there, and Brody, of course, jumping into the rush. That's what makes that play. And then Jones puts himself in perfect position in the slot and able to bang that one home. Boy, you know what? He changed the angle. I think that Mike Smith thought that he was going to go blocker side, and you can see at the last second, Jones changed the angle and went high glove side, which completely fooled Mike Smith.
Fooled me too. I thought that puck got through to Boma, but it was Jones who put it in.
Right.
Kelly, you are correct. So David Jones gets his 7th goal of the season, and the Flames are back on top.
What a smart play by Jones. You can tell by the rebound, or the replay, excuse me, that Mike Smith just almost threw his entire body to the blocker side.
As the puck goes out of play at the Calgary bench.
Jones is 7th of the season for Monahan and Brody at .451.
Another goal, another winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest. Courtesy of Safeway and Quaker Crispy Minis or Rice Cakes. The winner is Alfred Mueller of Lethbridge. Alfred, you won yourself a Hoover Air cordless vacuum. Congratulations.
Not surprised to see TJ Brody jumping into the play, into the rush, and get it started right there. Nice little play that Monahan can't handle that puck, but the defensemen were all gathered around Monahan. That left Jones open behind the first wave. What a shot, though, to think on the spot that quickly.
TJ Brody with a bank pass at center ice. Fired in by Drew Shore, who winds up with a puck, try to get it through to Colborne. It winds up in front of the goal. Byron's all tied up. Now he got a shot away, and that goes off the toe of Smith. Chance for Giordano off the heel of his stick. Comes back to him, though. Mark Giordano keeps the play alive with a shot, and the traffic. Smith made the save. Colborne gets the rebound. Joe Colborne out the other side. Fires it around the boards. Back to Giordano. Flames pressuring again. Shot by Giordano. Smith makes the save. And he hangs on to the puck.
excellent shift to follow up the goal by Jones. That's how you put pressure on the team after they've fallen behind. Byron with a quick spinorama, but Smith was equal to that task. Nice right leg save right there. Pucks to the net. Colburn trying to battle in front. Comes up with the puck, and it's going to go right back to the point. Giordano, and he's going to try and get the puck through with traffic in front. Byron battling Yandel. Good pressure by the Calgary Flames.
Vitale wins the draw in his own zone. McMillan's able to clear it out. Chris Russell back, gave it away. Korpikoski works it in back to the line. Shot by Samuelson up high, and Ortio made the save, and the rebound's cleared down the ice. And this will be an icing call on Calgary. Just past the 6-minute mark of the third period.
Just a real calmness to the play of Yanni Ortio. That's what everybody talked about just when you watch him play. I mean, that's pretty calm right there when icing, and he's got his arm resting comfortably on the crossbar waiting for the face-off, isn't it? Ekman Larsson with the high shot right there. It looks as though it's actually deflected a little bit. Not much, but Ortio is able to find it, but I just like that shot we had right there. Ho-hum.
Yeah.
Let's get ready. Okay. Play again. Ho-hum, no problem.
And a glass of scotch in one hand, just kicking back.
Now we're talking.
Off the draw, Flames get it out to center. Brandon Bollig flips it in. Smith out of the goal. Plays it around Bollig. Finds Connor Murphy. He'll feed it to Yandel behind the net, up the other side and out. No icing on the play. Ortio out of the goal. 13:30 left in the third. 2-1 Calgary leading. Chris Russell deep in his own zone. Paul Byron, nice play to Monahan. He'll bring it through center. Sean Monahan over the line with speed. Swings wide with a shot off the stick of McCulloch, and the puck goes out of play. 13:17 to go. Third period of play. Flames 2, Coyotes 1. Tell us Flames hockey on Sportsnet. Shop at Safeway today and you could be our next lucky winner. Watch future Sportsnet telecasts and you could win an all-inclusive trip for two to a Grand Bahia Principe resort courtesy of redtag.ca, where Canada shops for great travel deals.
Good hockey game here in the desert. There's also some pretty good hockey back in Calgary right now, Rick. The Calgary Flames are hosting the Pro-Child Classic, which is hockey between Mount Royal Cougars and the UFC Dinos men's and women's team. So that would be pretty good. It's at the Dome. Like I said, last year 7,000 people came out to watch the championship game. Earlier today, I understand the Mount Royal women beat the Dinos 3-2. Men's game is going on right now, so good support by the Calgary Flames and all sorts of community projects, including CIS hockey and many, many others, and they're very community-minded. So congratulations to them for putting on that hockey game, or games, I should say.
Absolutely. Here in Arizona, 2-1 Flames lead. After the icing call against the Coyotes, face-off back in their end. Backlund on the draw against Vitale. Scramble draw. Gaudreau tries to get the puck. Backlund gets it back to the line to Weidman. Weidman long, wrister never got it through. Blocked by Ekman Larsson, who takes control and feeds it ahead. Out they come to center. David Moss trying to work his way around. Russell dropped it off to the line. Stone with a shot that never got through. Might be another block for Chris Russell. Michael Backlund. Goals in 4 straight games, including tonight over the line with Hoodler. Tipped it in. Backlund on the forecheck, bumping. Ekman Larsson got it free to Gaudreau. Looked out front, nobody was there. The rest of the Flames were changing. Backlund in the corner, knocked off his stick. Gaudreau will one-handed deep for Hoodler as Gaudreau heads off. Yuri Hoodler tied up by Stone. Chip Chura to the loose puck. Dangerous play, but he got it through to Moss. As the Coyotes start to change as well, Moss will drop it off. Ekman Larsson back to Stone. Michael Stone off the boards and out as he took a hit from Lance Boma. Mention Boma's hit total this year, 135 coming into the game. That was 7th most in the NHL as Boma works the puck over the line. Pocket picked by Bodker. Flames battle to get it back. Can't do it. Kel Bodker feeds it out to Hansel. Stops just inside the zone. Giordano tries to check Hansel. Yandel kept the play onside. Faked the shot. Fires it down low instead to Bodker. Back to the other point. Long shot by the defenseman Connor Murphy. Missed the net. The Flames get the loose puck and feed it to the blue line. They can't get it up. Blocked by Yandel. Now it clears the zone. Hansel settles it down and feeds it back to his own line. Just past the 8-minute mark of the third period of play. Shots are 25-17 Arizona, but the Flames lead 2-1. On goals by Backlund and David Jones. Bodker has the Coyotes goal in this game. Drew Shore fires it across at his own line. Russell, Weidman. Ahead for Shore, tipped it deep. He'll head it in the forecheck. Behind the net to Colborne on the other side. Colborne leaves the puck for Shore. Shore got it out front. Byron couldn't get a stick on it. That pass was broken up and the Coyotes break back the other way. Try to dump it in. Vermette gets it back himself. Supposed to be an offside, but play continues. Russell able to lift it high and out. Puck bounces to Philip Samuelsson. Now McCulloch back to Samuelsson. Long pass up the left side, tipped in by Erat. He'll head after it. Former Saskatoon Blade and Red Deer Rebel. Flames get the puck though. Matt Stajan will carry out. Popped it up to McCulloch. Cross to Samuelsson, back to McCulloch. Not much room out there right now. Tight checking game. Giordano got it away before Bodker could get to it. Bollig takes the pass. Works the puck in with a shot off the wing. Big rebound off Smith. The puck goes wide. Simple shot by Bollig, and Smith kicked that right back out front. Stajan was tied up and couldn't get a second opportunity. As Bodker carries back in for the Coyotes. Gagne now. There's the pass. That goes off the stick of Gaudreau and out of play. That shot from Stone never got through to the net.
Bollig with a long shot right here that gives Mike Smith lots of problems. Big, juicy rebound right there. But you would think from that angle, you know what? Now on second thought, I think that may have hit the defenseman's Stone's stick, and that's why it created more of a problem for Mike Smith than I originally thought. It was a very slight tip, but enough, I think, that it threw him off and caused that big rebound in front.
Backlund against Joe Vitale on the draw. Vitale wins the faceoff. Yandel tries a shot. That's blocked, and the Flames get control. Russell will feed it ahead to Gaudreau. Pass out the center to Hoodler. Carries over the line. Threw it in behind Backlund in the slot. Puck is picked up by Connor Murphy. And he'll one-hand it out to the neutral zone. Intercepted by Yuri Hoodler. Back they come. Gaudreau. His pass for Backlund. Fanned on it, though. It never got through. Vitale. Back the other way on the counterattack. Works it over the line. Stops top of the circle with a shot. Put it wide of the goal. Puck bounces free to Backlund near side. Michael Backlund with a pass. Dangerous. Got away with it. Vitale had a chance to pick that off. Couldn't get to it. Flames dump it in late in the shift. They'll finish off a change as Jones comes off the bench. Heads in the forecheck. Puck cleared out by Arizona. Chipchura over the line. Watched closely by Rafael Diaz. Chipchura twisting and turning, threw it out front. Deflects to the other side. David Moss over to it. Bumped by Derek Englund. Bounces behind the net to the near corner. Diaz is there to feed it ahead. McCulloch stands his ground, keeps the play on side for a moment. Now Monahan's able to get it out. Sean Monahan through center. Long shot in on goal. Smith knocks that down and plays the puck to McCulloch. Under 9 minutes to go in regulation. 2-1 Calgary leading. As Russell bank pass to Boma. Nice play to Colborne with room. Colborne with a shot. Glove save by Smith. Joel Colborne with a wrist shot. Breaking in off the left side, and Smith able to make the stop with the big glove. As that save right there keeps the score 2-1 Calgary. 8:35 to go, third period in Arizona. Do you love hockey? Watch it on Canada's fastest internet as named by PCMag.com.
Best save of the game for Mike Smith, keeping his team in it. Still down only 2-1, but with only 8:35 left in the third period, that could have been a devastating goal for the Coyotes to give up. So give him credit. Keep his team in it. Not going to make all the saves, just make the timely ones and keep your team hanging around.
Off the draw in the offensive zone. Flames lose it, though. Ekman Larson feeds it up the far side. Tipped to center ice. Erat onto it there. Got it through to Alessio. Stops in the corner behind the net for Erat. Bumped by Chris Russell. Marty Erat battling. Ekman Larson. Antoine Vermette. Ekman Larson. Missed the net with that sharp angle shot. Puck comes back to the point to Stone. That shot hit a leg out front. It was Weidman. He winds up with the puck and clears the zone. 2-on-1 opportunity. Gaudreau with Hoodler. Gaudreau. Hoodler! Nice stop by Smith. Stacked the pads to make that save on Yuri Hoodler. Puck cleared out. Mike Smith made a couple of saves the last few minutes. Giordano gets the puck. Skates it out himself. Gave it away to Bodker momentarily. Tied him up long enough, but Hansel will take it in. Hansel over the line with a pass out front. Nice job there. Byron able to tie up Sam Gagner. Couldn't get a stick to the pass. And the Flames clear the zone. 7.5 minutes to go in the third. Connor Murphy. Dad Gord, former Flyer, Bruin, Panther. Flyers assistant coach now. Puck into the Calgary zone. Tipped out. Connor Murphy leaves it for Yandel. He's hassled, and the Flames work it in. Yandel got it back, though. Keith Yandel skates it out. Gagner checked at the line. Loose puck corralled by Monahan. Colborne going to the goal. Monahan stops. Lost it for a moment. Got it back behind the net for Joe Colborne. Couldn't reach the puck, though. Played out front. Smith taps it free to Yandel. Coyotes take their time. Zbynek McCulloch at his own blue line. Skates through center now and flips it in. Wide of the goal. Weidman back. Chris Russell takes the pass in the corner. Bumped by Vitale. Steals the puck. Joe Vitale. Lost it for a moment, but they get it back. Korpikoski out the other side of the backhand. Turns around, finds Vitale on the far boards. Drops it off now. Samuelson will play it deep. Korpikoski behind the Calgary goal. Try to play it out front. Nice job there by Weidman to block the pass, and he got it off the glass and out. McCulloch goes back to it. Plays it across. Flames start a change. Long pass to Korpikoski late in the shift. That's tipped at the line, and McMillan steps it offside as the whistle blows.
Action both ends. A long shot right there. Dennis Weidman finds it through traffic, and then he spots Johnny Gaudreau for the 2-on-1. Excellent pass right here, but the old two-pad stack from Mike Smith. Haven't seen one of those in a long, long time, but again, that's what you do when you're desperate. You have to find a way to make a save. Mike Smith now 2 spectacular saves in the last 2 minutes to keep his team in it.
6:15 to go in the third. Flames up by 1.
From like 25 years ago, that save.
Yeah, your era.
I know. I would have been pretty proud of myself after that one.
Flames have closed the shot gap here to 25-21. As Bodker plays the puck to Stone. Drops it off in his own zone to Ekman Larson up the near side to Hansel. Big Martin Hansel over the line. Pass blocked. Taken away by Bollig, and he'll clear the zone. Sam Gagner back. Cross for Ekman Larson. Pass to Stone. High. Had to knock it down. Now he fires it ahead for Bodker. Broken up by Giordano to Stajan. Stajan feeds it right side to Hoodler. Hoodler slap shot. Steered away by Smith. Rebound just got away from Gaudreau. Had the open net. Couldn't quite reach it. Now a tip-on goal by Gaudreau. Steered aside by Smith. Mike Smith's been good the last few minutes. Puck comes to Gagner in the far side, and he's able to feed it to Hansel. It clears the zone to Bodker late in the shift. Flips the puck in, turns to the bench as Brody goes back to it. TJ Brody out of his own zone. Finds Michael Backlund. Backlund over the line, trying to make a move. Can't get around Yandel. Puck comes free right to Smith, and he'll cover up for a whistle with 5:13 to go in the third period. Flames up by 1. Mike Smith, the only reason it's not a bigger lead is Calgary leads 2-1 here in Arizona. Be sure to tune in to Boomer and Rhett Warner weekday mornings in Calgary on Sportsnet 960 The Fan. They talk hockey their way. And a reminder, the road trip continues for the Flames Saturday in San Jose. It'll be on CBC, 8 o'clock face-off Mountain Time.
I like the way Boomer and Rhett Warner talk also, by the way. I don't know. You're fairly new to the city, Rick, so I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to their show, but
Absolutely.
Excellent radio, yeah.
I've been on their show.
Oh, cool.
And it's always a pleasure.
It's always great for people my age to listen to Rhett, ask him for advice and see what sort of advice he might have coming your way.
On what, getting older? Is that what you're saying?
All sorts of things about life. Very interesting.
5 minutes to go in the third period. 2-1 Calgary leading in Glendale. Chris Russell slowly out of his own zone. Plays it back to Dennis Weidman. Puck tipped in by Gaudreau, who heads off on a change. McCulloch back to it. Yandel's pass. Missed its mark. Bowman plays it deep again. Keith Yandel gets it back. David Moss slowly brings it out. On it through to Chipchura. Over the line. Drop pass. Backhand shot. Reeder missed the net. Puck goes around the boards and out, and Bowman's going to get after it. McCulloch was headed off and realized it. Otherwise, Bowman would have been home free. McCulloch able to sweep the puck off the boards to safety.
Somebody must have told him from the bench. Good communication, because he wasn't facing the puck.
The shot by David Jones off the wing that deflects wide. That one goes off the outside of the post by Boma. Monahan onto the puck. Sean Monahan got a nice pass to Giordano with a wrist shot. Scores! Mark Giordano makes it 3-1 Calgary, 4:02 to go in the third.
Here are those offensive instincts that Bob Hartley was asking from Sean Monahan. Strong play behind the Coyote net. Long shot from Jones. It gives an awkward bounce right here for Smith. He loses it, comes free. But here are those offensive instincts from Monahan, spotting Giordano right there. Lots of traffic. It looks as though Stone might be screening Smith right there. So just great vision from Monahan. Giordano quietly sneaking in just a few feet from the blue line. And what a hard wrister that was. That's that goal they were looking for. 3-1 now.
11th of the season for Mark Giordano. Monahan will get the helper. That's his second assist of the night. And a little breathing room for Calgary inside 4 minutes to go now in regulation. Joe Vitale with the puck. Works it behind the net, threw it out front. Pass was blocked. Vitale got it back to the line of Murphy. Just kept it onside. Connor Murphy's shot blocked. Puck bounces to the near boards. Erat's there. Yandel back door. That never got through. Brody intercepted. He'll bring it out as Byron with him. Byron lost the puck in front of the Arizona bench. As they play it in, both teams make a change. First Russell back. It's my first Phoenix tonight, Kelly.
I know.
Took till late in the third period.
Funny you said that. I was thinking that. You did pretty well.
Offside call on Calgary at the Arizona blue line. Let's check in with Jamie Thomas back in the studio. Jamie, what's coming up on Sportsnet Central?
Well, Rick, we'll have post-game analysis from the Hockey Central panel, plus the other 6 Canadian teams were in action. We'll have that and more coming up on Sportsnet Central after the game. Back to you.
Thank you, Jamie Thomas. Off the draw, Sam Gagner able to flip it in. He'll hit it in the forecheck. Russell battling with Gagner. Hansel comes in to help out. Taps it free. On the near side, Bodker's there, back to the line. Given away to Bollig by Ekman Larson. Bollig banks it off the boards and out. And then kicks the puck towards the blue line. Inside 3 minutes to go. McCulloch takes the pass. Fires the puck around the boards. Comes all the way outside the zone. Brought back in offside by Yandel. Another Safeway winner with that goal by Calgary. Congratulations by shopping at Safeway. Stephen Page of Calgary's won the Garmin VIRB Elite HD Action Camera, courtesy of Safeway, and Quaker Crispy Minis or Rice Cakes.
So both Giordano and Brody getting in on the action of the third period goals. Brody with a good play on the Jones goal, the 2-1 goal, and then Giordano, of course, getting the third goal.
Puck played around the boards down the ice, no icing. Yandel back to it. Flames on a plane right after the game tonight to San Jose. I mentioned the game on Saturday will be on CBC against the Sharks, 8 o'clock Mountain Time. And then it's LA Monday and Anaheim Wednesday to wrap up the pre-All-Star break portion of the schedule. The final 2 games of this trip on Sportsnet. Here comes Hoodler through center ice. Brody with him along with Johnny Gaudreau. Lost an edge as he turns back to the bench. Short shifts for Calgary. Inside 2 minutes to go with a 2-goal lead. Coyotes work it in. Drop pass to nobody. Now Chipchura gets onto the puck. Turning in the corner. Shot into traffic. Ordio's down. The puck's loose and the Flames get control. Boma there to clear the zone out to safety as the net's empty at the far end. Mike Smith on the bench for the extra skater for Arizona. Monahan almost had it. Knocked off a stick. Now he gets it back at center ice with the empty net. He scores! 2 helpers and an empty net goal. The third period for Sean Monahan makes it 4-1 Calgary.
Just absolutely no panic by Dennis Wideman. Great composure right in the neutral zone. Puck going to squirt free, and he's just going to take his time right there. And just a nice little pass to Monahan. Monahan easily deposits that into the open net.
Richard Wolf of Chestermere shopped at Safeway on behalf of Safeway and Quaker Crispy Minis or Rice Cakes. Richard, you've won yourself a Lagostina 10-piece cookware set. Congratulations. Well, we talked about it, Kelly, a few games ago. Bob Hartley saying you wanted more offense out of Sean Monahan. He's getting it tonight.
In a big way.
Sam Gagner at center will flip it in. The Flames about to go 4-0 against Arizona this season. And amazingly, Calgary's record in the very top Pacific Division will improve to 12-3-1.
Last minute of play of the period.
Byron works the puck out. Final minute of play. Shore tried to play it back to Diaz. Missed him with a pass. Ortio almost played the puck in the no-go zone. Realized it, let it go. Derek Englund back to it to Colborne, who clears the zone to center ice. Fired back in by the Coyotes. Yoni Ortio, another strong showing tonight.
So
Takes 26 shots.
the decision or the discussion remains open now again. What do you do?
Another save there in traffic. Bob Hartley said today the decision to start Yoni Ortio, their mantra all season has been always earned, never
Yeah,
given.
that's right.
And he said if he didn't earn another start with that shutout against Vancouver, we might as well stop saying that. So do you play him against San Jose? It's a very good question.
Yes, it is. Good thing you and I don't have to answer it. We can raise the discussion, but we don't have to answer it.
Final seconds ticking off the clock as the Calgary Flames knock off the Arizona Coyotes for the fourth time this season by a score of 4-1. And they are now 2-0 to start this road trip. Get ready for the Sharks in San Jose on Saturday night.
28, the Flames 25. The final score.
As we check our game review, brought to you by Intact Insurance Company, proud to partner with the Calgary Flames.
Michael Backlund, of course, fourth straight game now with a goal. Bodker, fifth goal in the last 4 games, 4-goal scoring streak, and Yoni Ortio stopped 61 in the last 62 shots, which by my estimation is pretty darn good, Rick.
That's a nice way to start for Yoni Ortio this season. The Flames walk off the ice on the right end of a 4-1 game. Coyotes outshoot Calgary 28-25, but the Flames win by 3 where it counts.
TELUS Flames Hockey. Brought to you by TELUS. The future is friendly.